are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am down and on my knees, and I may fall as I'm so close to the edge.
Hello and welcome back to Turf Moor House TV. And if you're wondering why the camera's shit, it's because I'm using the laptop one, which is just typical. Webcam, don't have one. Usually use the camera on my phone. That's playing silly buggers again. But hi, from myself and from Mini Dan, mirrored cameras, I hate them. Either way, hope everybody is well. So we are back with the second game of the EFL. Obviously, I know there's a World Cup still going on. Who cares? Choosing between Argentina and France is like saying, who do you prefer more? Like your mum or your dad? Although some of us, after recent conversations, can't really could easily make that choice. But anyway, let us know your predictions in the chat. Get them in. If you are listening to us on the podcast platforms, then thank you very much for the love and support this year. Really do appreciate it. And obviously, keep listening to us. If you are an avid watcher and you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please could you do that? Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and also hit that little notification bell. You can get notified when we are next live, which funnily enough will be at 9 o'clock tonight when we bring you the prediction show, which I'll be joined by Anthony Herbert, the dirty Bristolian that he is. I'll be joined by him. So please do join us. As I say, we do have a Boro fan in. I'm looking forward to speaking to Jonny in just a moment, and we'll get all things Boro. If you could do us a massive favour, we are on social media. We are on everything but OnlyFans. I say this to you all the time. Everything but OnlyFans. You find us, we're there. That said, here are the places you can look out for us. Don't expect an OnlyFans logo and a foot pic. You're not going to get it. So yeah, that is where you can find us. Looking at it, all you got to do is search that little name there. My last name somehow fits within stadium. How weird. However, hate colds, hate winter. Get me on a plane somewhere warm. It's freezing, and I'm going out with a Yorkshire lass who doesn't like putting the heating on. Says everything. Just a quick message as well before we bring Jonny in. Thank you for the love and support this year. Really do appreciate it. You guys, as I said, I don't just look at you as subscribers, as numbers. We're a little community, and I appreciate every single one of you. So here's just a quick message from me to you. And as soon as this ends, you'll get to see the beautiful Jonny's face. And we will crack on with Burnley versus Boro. Hey, must be the
Hey.
Jonny. How you doing?
I'm really good, mate. How are you doing? I feel really festive now I've seen that.
I'm glad one of us does. I've still got a fair bit to do. I won't say too much in case there's little ears listening upstairs because the missus might have it on. But thank you for coming on, giving everything like perspective of Boro. First of all, let people know about you, about your stuff, and where they can follow you.
Yes, so I host a podcast called the Boro Breakdown Podcast. It is as a Middlesbrough football podcast. It's quite good in a way that we call Boro Breakdown because there is plenty of breakdowns that happen if you are a Middlesbrough fan. Obviously, over the last few years that we've been doing it, you can pretty much find us pretty much everywhere on YouTube, podcast, and all your podcast providers. And yeah, we've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now, and going from strength to strength. It's just a shame we've had Tony Pulis, Neil Warnock, awful time with Woodgate. And then we had the one glory time we had, or it was going really well, was under Chris Wilder, and even that went to pot. So hasn't been always positive, but it's been quite good.
It has, and I must say as well, I think, well, just first and foremost, I think there's a link to the YouTube page and your Twitter page in the description of the video. So if people do, pardon me, people do want to go check it out, get into the description of the video if you're watching us on YouTube, as we are currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So do check us out on all three of them platforms. And as I said, the description is on the YouTube video, so you'll have to come over to that platform if you're watching elsewhere. But please do show your support to Jonny and his stuff as well. You did mention there about the plethora of Boro managers. I mean, I look at this Burnley Boro game, and for some reason, I don't know why, but the fans seem to make it out like it's a rivalry. I don't know what it is. I think it's ever since there was a Boro fan that put a comment out about, oh, we've got Victor Valdez and you signed Nick Pope and some crappy winger from Charlton. And then it just sort of imploded from there. And it's all just, I just remember the scenes when we grabbed the last minute equaliser, 90th minute, Michael Keane at Turf Moor, and just the place just erupted. It was literally like we just stolen all 3 points. But can you sum it up? Why does this almost feel like an intense rivalry, even though it's not? It just seems to always be.
Yeah, I think it comes, doesn't it? I think it comes from when it was Daesh versus Karanka. Both teams were trying to push for the promotion. You guys were on an incredible run under Daesh. We were under an incredible run under Karanka. And I think both teams just really wanted that promotion. And I think you got it the 1 year, and then we got it pretty much the year after. But itself, I think it just came from competition, didn't it? And obviously there's only like an hour and a bit between us, so I think there's not really a rivalry, but it's just a case of it was so intense, that key moment or that key parts of the season, and there's so much on the line. I think that does come over a little bit, but I did find that quite funny, that tweet, to be honest, about Valdez, and I remember our Premier League season, we had Negredo, Valdez, Daron, and we had a really good team, but honestly I have no idea how it really imploded the way it did. But I mean, that's just typical Boro, to be honest. But yeah, I don't really understand it. I don't understand it. It's not a rivalry, but I mean, I feel like it will still be quite juicy on Saturday, because Burnley are playing tremendously well under Vinny at the moment, and Michael Carrick for us is doing tremendously well, and they of course were rivals at the Manchester clubs respectively as well. So it'd be quite nice to see how it boards definitely on Saturday. But rivalry, not too sure.
No, I mean it's always been a good one for me against Boro. It's what, it's the Riverside Stadium, if that's still what it's called. I know how many teams actually sell naming rights these days, but that I haven't finished the Holy Trinity yet. I've done Sunderland, I've done Newcastle, I haven't done Boro yet, so I do need to make an appearance up there at some point.
My advice is just wear a hat, because it's always freezing. It doesn't matter if it's middle of summer or well, right now where
you need
about 10
got my tea
layers
cozy
now.
in this one, so
Yeah, I was at the game on at the weekend, and honest to God, I was never been so cold.
Oh
But
wow.
it will only get colder as it hits till about March, and then it seems to get a little bit better. But I mean, it's still freezing. But then when I went to Turf Moor, like I remember years ago, I think we won 3-1, and it was like just a concrete slab as like my seat, and that was freezing.
Oh yeah,
So
it still is. Still is. Although we have updated it a little bit.
yeah,
You know, when people say you can't polish a turd, if you come to Turf Moor again, you'll realise we've polished a turd, and it can be done.
yeah. Well, it was like very old seats when that last time like
Oh,
I
they're
was
still
there. I
there.
was there.
They're
Oh,
still
they're
there.
still
They
there.
still make it very, very awkward and want you to go on with splinters up your ass.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be fair, I was like concrete, so it was fine. To be honest, it's just firm. Obviously, you don't sit down anywhere, but
Nah,
yeah, it was good memories or good memories at Turf Moor with that.
I bet it was. Looking in the comments, then you're all getting involved. Thank you very much, everyone who's put in a comment so far. We've got Redstone. He's in. Says evening, evening to your fine self. The Stream Elements bot's running. Whoop whoop. David's in. Says evening, evening to yourself. The missus keeping an eye on me, making sure that I'm trying to behave. Trying the big
Only
word.
best you didn't say about the Christmas present, no. So
I know.
yeah,
It's a good
it's
job I
worked out.
didn't say anything about, oh, guess what I've got the missus? Guess what I've got this? She's got a cup of F-all. David says, up the Boro. So we've got some Boro fans in. Even Redstone says, I'm a Boro lad, and he's going for a 2-1 win. Henry's in as well. Hope you are well, Henry. Hope all is well with yourself. The missus says, hope you're taking the piss. Heating just went off. Well, it would just go off because you know that I'm sat downstairs and you're upstairs with the electric blanket on. So I freeze downstairs, you get warm upstairs. There's method to your madness. I know what you're doing to me. Miss Molina's in. Hope you are well, Mel. Hope everything is fine. Good health to you and to the family out there in Canada. Cindy's in as well from across the pond. Great to see everyone. Glad we're getting back to the regular season. Yeah, none of this World Cup shite. Let's move on from it now. Henry says they're up the clarets. People saying hi to each other. Cindy said watched all England and Wales matches in the World Cup. Sad we didn't go further. Proud of the US men, but didn't expect them to go past England. Was very surprised at a draw. Yeah, to be fair, you did do pretty well. A lot of even American fans were saying that they thought you were going to finish bottom of the group because they thought you had your eyes on 2026. But you know, so you surpassed expectation, especially with Greg Berhalter, who a lot of people are giving a lot of shit. Even though he's calling me a stingy Yorkshire gal, despite never living there. Please sub here if you're new and give this video a thumbs up. Head on over to the guest channel too and follow. No, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. And I'll say thank you later on. You could always join me. That's an invitation I am going to have to decline because I'm currently live, but maybe later. Luke says, evening to yourself. Hope you are well. Cindy is loving the chat between me and Kate because it can just go off sometimes. She even barks orders at me through the chat. It's unreal. But I hope everybody is well. As I said earlier, if you could, please do drop us a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified. Right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Let's get into what we're here for. I mean, first and foremost, tell me about your season so far, especially the wilder moments. We'll get to Carrick's bit later.
It's a great story, mate. To be honest, life under Chris Wilder last season was fantastic. Beating Spurs, the FA Cup run that we had, obviously beating Manchester United on the way as well, and we went from being underperforming under Neil Warnock to a team which outgrew him really, to a team that was going for promotion and playing really good football at the time as well. And then there was a period in March where Sean Dyche lost his job, and then all of a sudden Chris Wilder is linked with this role. Chris has links with Burnley, I think, with your owner at the time, or someone who was referring the club to different managers within that remit. And of course, he's friends with Sean Dyche as well. All of a sudden, our performances start to dip. And typical Boro, really, we do tend to fall a little bit short. we didn't have enough players within the group to hit the promotion strides, but we were getting in and around those in those positions, and we fell apart towards the end. But then at the end of that, it was kind of, we got beat 4-1 off Preston at last day of the season. We was like, no one's really that bothered. We'll come again. We'll get some additions in, and we'll do well this year. Then we had a poor start to the season. Now he was linked with Bournemouth, and we just asked him if he was all in. Was he all in? No. And it was clear that, and now we do know from other sources that he was pretty much gone. Like Gibson was going to sack him in the March and didn't. He was going to take that. He was his favourite at Bournemouth and then didn't get it, and now he's on TV showing his face again. So I think he's had a couple of things in the pipeline that haven't went off, but it was clear that he wasn't committed to the club. There was clear disconnect between the coach and staff and the players. And that in itself, when those type of things happen and a bad culture starts to form, you tend to see your form dip as well. So that happened. And then Michael Carrick came in, and it's a lot more rosier and more expected to where we should be. I think mid-table all the way through at the playoffs is exactly where we should be. I think we will probably get playoffs maybe now come the end of the season if we strengthen. But now under Carrick, it feels everyone's singing on the same hymn sheet. We look good. We look relaxed and balanced, and I'm excited to see what the second half of the season brings now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going back to what you said about the Wilder link, he was constantly linked. He was being asked question upon question, wasn't he, by the media? Are you? Can you rule yourself out? Are you going to give a definitive answer? And he's like, look, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with it. I mean, like you said, the season prior, things were going amazing. Where do you think the problems came from? Because, I mean, talk to me about your recruitment in the summer. Did you at that point think with the recruitment that maybe we're going to be a lot stronger than we were last year and potentially go on to, be fighting for the division?
The recruitment last season was relatively okay. We haven't got a lot of funds. Let's be real. We've been in the Championship for a while now. We're not going to be spending millions upon millions and millions on players. And Middlesbrough going through a transitional period at the moment. We've brought in Kieran Scott as a head of football. Craig Jones is a new head of recruitment who's just came in the building. And, we're starting to build again this whole recruitment process. The reason why Wilder failed the way he did is because the personal skills off the pitch was the main issue. He clearly lost the dressing room because the way he was trying to communicate and the personal skills behind it made things difficult. When you look at Boro's signings in this summer, they've been relatively quite good. Marcus Forss, who did really, really well at Brentford, scored a couple of goals in the Premier League, comes back down again. And, he didn't just made him a development signing, which, come on, he's played Premier League football and Championship football. He is not a development signing in Chris Wilder. Matt Clark, who's been injured, but he was fantastic when he played. Ryan Giles is just an amazing footballer, on the left-hand side, 5 assists this season, really good left foot, whips the ball in the box. And, we've got, he's not a sign, but Chilbrackpom came from the absolute cold. We're signing under Warnock. Warnock somehow didn't want him anymore, even though he said he was the number one target. So classic Warnock comes back and top goal scorer this season. So he is like a new signing. And, and probably one more sign to add on top of that is Darrell Lenihan, came from Blackburn, who, will probably get a nice reception, given that you guys absolutely hate Blackburn. But he's been a really good sign, really good leader, made us pretty stiff at the back now and made things a little bit more difficult for teams to get in behind. But overall, I think it's been a relatively okay recruitment. It's going to be a building process for maybe the next couple of seasons, but Boro in the past have been a team where they've flunked money around with no real conviction or direction. But now you can clearly see the process, and it's definitely more of instead of a management culture, it's definitely a club culture now, and you can see that it's starting to come through.
Yeah, definitely. There's a player of yours I like, actually, Dale Fry.
Yeah, Dale Fry.
I think he's decent. I think he's pretty decent. He's still only quite young as well, so I'm surprised that he's not been looked at by some of the bigger clubs in the Prem. I think I think he is decent.
He's a little
bit
like
Burnley and your centre backs don't seem to work out. I mean, Ben Gibson. I wasn't going to mention it, but
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So, I mean, thanks for like the 10 mil or whatever you paid for him. But, I mean, we absolutely flunked that. So, but yeah, Dale Fry's good. He's that kind, for me, he's that player that is probably too good for Championship, but not good enough for the Premier League, maybe. But
Yeah.
who knows? Like, he hasn't really had the time to kind of prove himself yet. But for me, he's kind of like that Cameron Jerome, not good, too good for the Premier League, not good enough for the no, sorry, too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League. But yeah, good player, good centre back, doing really well with Darrell Lenihan at the moment at the back.
No, definitely. And from this man here, who clearly is scratching his ears, wondering where did it all go wrong, to a man who's starting to put it right. Michael Carrick came in. Were you happy with the appointment?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, my two choices for the job were Michael Carrick and the new Luton manager. His name has just left my brain. Edwards. Sorry. And they were my top two picks. And Carrick coming in was a really good fit for us, really, because we were looking to bring in a head coach, and we've got a good history of bringing in managers who want their first role and progressing them quite nicely, and them doing really successful. So to name names, you know, and Gareth Southgate, we got relegated. Yeah. Now England manager doing well. Whoever is, I mean, he's like Marmite at the moment, but who isn't like Marmite in the England job at the moment? So, you know, but Karanka did really well. Steve McLaren, you know, I think there's been, and Brian Robson, and there's been some really good managers that have came in and developed from that. But to bring Carrick in, he's like a Rolls Royce for play. You know, watching him and how he's seen the game in his time at Manchester United. And we had a really good recommendation from Southgate to bring him in to the football club. And when he has came in now, I'm being really, really happy with him. You know, really good personal skills, looking to understand the players on and off the pitch, really good judgment. And you can kind of see how he's played as a player and how he received information from the coaching staff and how he's implemented to the team itself, because the team now, instead of looking like they've got too much analysis paralysis like they did under Wilder at times, just seem to have confidence, clear structure, and they feel like there's a bit more balance to us and there's a bit more confidence to our play. And yeah, I think his tactical ability is being quite good. He's really flexible and he's just got one key principle: how can we attack space? And I'm very keen to see how that bodes well against you guys on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Carrick does strike me as one of those people, similar to Company, that in terms of these people that have had captaincies, they seem to know how to deal with, you know, they've dealt with the team play, you know, the players they've had around them. These players have had to come to the captain and speak to them, who have he's then had to go on and speak to the manager if this player such and such doesn't want to bring it up, but I think you might need a word with, you know, and that also helps with the man management side of things. I do think as well, like say with the captaincy, that leadership really does help. And it's great that he's got the ball rolling, you know, with some of the results, because obviously when Wilder was there, were you in the bottom three when he left?
Yeah, we're in the bottom three. Historically, Wilder does terrible. I think every club he's been at, I think the first 6 games he does horrendous, then puts it right, and then they go on a mad run. But we just didn't have that. We just kept getting beat or not winning games. And it was at the start, you go, we're just a little bit away, and we played quite well. But then just all of a sudden, it just tanked. So, but he's came in, and 4 wins and 5-2 back-to-back wins that we came back from behind and scored in the last minute, which is quite good. So that only gives you confidence, doesn't it? And I think we just look good. I think we just look good and confident now where we weren't prior in the season. You know, you don't need to change too much to this side to get a lot out of it. But this squad in particular, it's all about getting your arm around the shoulder, getting them to feel confident, and to get them playing with like a freedom and having like, if you do make a mistake, it's all right to make the mistake, because if you did it under Wilder, you were not seen again for about 6 weeks. But under Carrick, he hasn't changed the team yet since he's been in the building. So I think he's changed it once after the first game, and he's had the same starting 11 for the last 5 games.
Yeah, I was going to say your last game, obviously a 2-1 win against Luton, prior to the World Cup curtailing the season. Then you've had, the sorry, that was the last game, wasn't it? And then prior to that, You
Norwich.
had Norwich. I think. Did you play Hibs in a friendly?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's
no one really
mad.
counts that, right?
I mean, still a win, I suppose. Keeps momentum going. But you've literally in your next 3 games got a bit of a Lancastrian affair because obviously the trip to Turf Moor, then back at home, but facing off against the fat pie eaters of Wigan, and then the inbreds at Ewood Park. So yeah, nice little bit of nice little Lancashire par there for you. But looking at your last 2 results, sorry, or last 3, take that Hibs one away, beating Blackpool, drawn with Bristol City, like as you said, beating Norwich, beating Luton. For a team that wasn't doing so well, you are beating teams that have, at least once already this season had good form.
Yeah, look, we're not far away. Like, there's this group of players from where we were last year were good. Let's not forget, like last season we were still in around the playoff places anyway under Wilder. So this group can play. I think it's just a case of unleashing that and trying to build a bit of form together. We have changed ever so slightly in terms of style and also formation, a bit more compact in the 4-2-3-1. But in terms of that, the like I was saying, like the group itself just needed that spark, just needed that confidence boost. And when the teams around us, it's really important to beat them to get yourself up the league, and then hopefully deliver in towards the end of it as well. But I'm really keen to see how we do against Vinny and Burnley, because I watched a lot of Vinny's football at Anderlecht last year. That's weird. Second teams Anderlecht, so yeah, I don't know why I followed them, but I did. But he made a lot of mistakes last year by trying to play this idealistic way, possession-based football, trying to stretch teams too much, and we could never, ever, ever hold on to a win. But now it seems like he's kind of fixed that a little bit now at Burnley. I think he's got a bit more quality there. But I think I'm just very keen to see how we board up against you guys.
No, it should be good. I agree. I mean, I watched a few games back once the murmurs were around of Company coming. I was a little bit like, well, I'll be honest. When somebody said Company or Rooney, who would you have? I thought, well, Rooney's been in and around the English game. So he's already got like a bit of a foothold in it. So I sort of went in favour of Rooney, but I wouldn't change anything for the world now, obviously. To have the most goals scored in all 4 divisions, even beating his former club Man City in terms of goals scored, it's this something's right, something's clicked, and it's great as well because Burnley have always been that team that you look at, and they've had the likes of Ben-Mee and Tarkowski playing at the back for years. If it wasn't Tarks, it was Michael Keane, and if it wasn't him, it was Michael Duff prior to him as well. And it was just we've sort of been built on that defensive unit. And then for, to lose Ben-Mee, to lose Tarkowski, to lose McNeil, to lose Cornet, you're thinking, shit, there's a very good chance we may even drop again. Company comes in, brings in these players that we've never heard of from the foreign markets. We've never really delved into the foreign markets. I mean, when we have, they've either never worked out or you've had the one that obviously works out. Stephen Defoe, prior to that, I think we had a player called Remco van der Schaaf. He played 1 game against Sheffield Wednesday. On the opening day, we got beat 4-1. We never saw him in a claret and blue shirt again. Diego Penne, he also was a keeper. He played in that Sheffield Wednesday game. We never saw him in a Burnley keeper kit again. Bezart Berisha, we signed. I can't remember where he played, but he were a striker. Can't remember where we signed him from, but we signed him after he scored a goal against England B at Turf Moor. And
that's
I think
the most Burnley thing ever.
It was so strange because he went off. And then funnily enough, I think he played for you guys. I'm trying to remember what he were called now. He played up front. Oh, what are he called?
Rose.
I think so.
Yelevossen.
Yes. Yeah. Joined us for about 2 days and then pissed off elsewhere.
Yeah, I
It was
mean,
weird that it's like we signed him. It's like, oh yeah, let's announce him, shirt off, and then just go, I don't like that colour. Give me a
yeah,
different one.
I don't know why I did that actually, because he went back to the Belgian league, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I think he's still smashing it as well. What I'm not surprised by. But yeah, he was like he was a really good player for us, Jelle Vossen. I absolutely loved him. But yeah, nice to see him doing. But it's nice to see you guys change the way that you've done recruitment. I think a lot of your signs were from the Belgian market this year, and it's a really good league to be honest. Like just from following it through Anderlecht, like the amount of talent that's coming through at Belgium at the moment is quite scary. But it's really interesting for me because Harbour Bellis struggled a lot last year. But Josh Cullen was a superstar and was always going to be a superstar in the championship. And it makes me so happy but sad at the same time that you got him and we never even inquired about Josh Cullen. Amazing footballer, absolutely amazing.
He is proper box to box midfielder. I mean, we're linked with. Sorry about that. We're linked with Dennis Undav from Brighton as well on
Yes.
loan. We're
Yeah.
linked with him. I think we're on about sending Halil Dervisoglu back to Brentford. That move's not really panned out. But like I say, you've got the likes of Vitinho. I mean, a Brazilian in Burnley. I mean, the only time you see a Brazilian in Burnley is a good gust of wind on a night out. It's the only time you see a Brazilian, and even then, you don't want to see it. Then you've got the likes of, like I say, Manuel Benson, Darko Cherlinov. We've not even seen the best of Scott Twine yet. He's only just come back into it. Had a cameo against QPR. Prior to that, we saw him for 10, 15 minutes against Huddersfield on the opening day. We've not seen him throughout because he's been injured. But there's still players that we need to bring in that we're going to get a bit of a look at. Anas Zaroury, who's been out at the World Cup with Morocco. He's been phenomenal. The only thing that bothers me is the loans because I hate it. I've done it. And it's with 5 of the buggers. I've fallen in love with 5 loan players in one bastard season. It's so frustrating. So I'm hoping that we can sign a few permanent, but we shall see. We shall see. People in the chat are saying, well, Henry asked a question here. What's your favourite Boro match?
Favourite Boro match, Middlesbrough versus Steaua Bucharest. Won 4-2. Went to UEFA Cup final because we were down 3-0 twice. So we beat Basel. We were 3-0 down, won 4-3. Went to the semis, then played Steaua Bucharest. 3-0 down on aggregate, 2-0 down on the night, won 4-2. Macaroni diving header.
Wow, what a player he were.
If you ever want to watch that game, even if you're not a Boro fan, you should watch it because it is amazing. I can't believe it actually happened. So good.
It's little moments like that, in it, that you sort of remember. Those wins that you just like I still to this day when people mention Burnley and Europe in the same sentence, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And what? That happened under Sean Dash playing Brexit ball. Are you okay? But it did. And you know what? Just happy as a pig in shit when it happened. My sister's in. Summer. She says, "Hi Dan, hope you're okay. I'm good. Just need to get prepped for Crimbo and all that. But I am excited. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the house party I'm off to afterwards as well, which should be good. So we've said about having a bit of a Christmas piss up, which is, standard. Say standard. Yeah. I'm hopefully not going to be standing by the end of it. I'm waiting for the missus to come in now with a ranty comment. No, you will. We've got the kids the day after. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But,
that's you on the corks, mate. Coca-Cola.
Oh, definitely. If I'm not on the corks, I'm on the sofa. One of the two. Luke says there, you still linked with Andy Carroll. I can't. You just nearly made me vom in my mouth. Don't even link us with that shower of shit. I doubt we're going to be linked ever with him anymore. Henry says, I enjoyed Boro when Ravanelli was playing up top.
Who didn't? We had like Juninho, Brazilian Player of the Year, Emerson, Festa, Ravanelli. Still got relegated. So
it's mad, that, isn't it?
Scored 40 goals in a season, got relegated. Oh,
absolutely, man. I mean, I'm looking at some of the stats for this game as well. Burnley have won just one of their last 8 league games against Boro. They've drawn 3 and lost 4. But the last time that we faced each other at Turf Moor, we won. We won 1-0 in the Prem in December 2016. But the record's not great, is it? I mean, obviously you've got the upper hand with 4 wins and 3 draws, but then, yet again, that it means shit on the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's no pressure on Middlesbrough at all to come to Burnley and get something. I think with you guys at the moment, there is pressure at the top. You are trying to create the distance, and it's what I have seen from a company team in the past is if you allow them to create space in that middle third of the pitch, you will get turned over quite quickly. If he gives it away or Cullen gives it away, you since your fullbacks go so high at times, there's so much space in behind. And I think that's how Boro might get into the game a little bit more. But
to be fair, Swansea tried that. Swansea tried that, and we dicked them 4-0. So they were good for about the opening 6 minutes, and then the game just changed like that. It was mad.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, there's no pressure on Boro to try and get something in the game. I think it would just be a case of us being compact for that first 35, 40 minutes. See how you'll look to play. Just don't allow your fullbacks too much time to get up and down, and also Nathan Teller. Just if is Teller fit? I think he didn't play last game. Right?
He's fit. Yeah,
superstar. I think Goodmanson.
Superstar. There's a little bit of you that cried when you said that. Then like
No, look, there's players that are going to be very good for Burnley this year. Like there's no doubt about it. Like when I'm looking at Matson, like Brownhill, Jay Rodriguez, even though I can't believe he's playing in the Championship this year. Josh Cullen is obviously a big fan of his anyway, but got some good players in there. I think it's just a case for Boro just to see how we can cope against you at the moment, and then also can we try and snatch something? We went to Norwich and beat them. We beat Blackpool. We beat a playoff team in Luton last year. We're in good form, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But there's probably more pressure on Burnley than there is on Boro to try and get something.
Definitely. Henry says, who scored for the Clarets in 2016? It was Andre Gray in the 80th minute. I've always said that obviously the way we played at the time, I always said Burnley are missing a pacey striker. When it just went to like Barnes and Vokes or Barnes and Wood, for a few seasons it worked. But yeah, I mean, maybe you'll be happy to see this comment.
Is he?
I didn't want to mention it, but cheers, Ali. Thank you.
Oh, wow, I didn't know he was suspended. One part of me makes it a little bit sad because I like watching him play, but great. I mean, he creates a lot of like your not a routine, but you have certain systems of where you play. Like there's like
when patterns. You're trying to spray it from one side to the other, he's sort of like that pivotal man that sort of can get it.
Yeah, he's the key man. But I mean, Cox just been just as good. So it's hard, but I guess you are beatable. I guess I mean Sheffield United proved it in sort of Watford. So if we can do the same, then why not?
No, exactly. Henry says, cool, creeping up to 800 subs down. Well done. Appreciate it. It's every night now. I want to cough. I don't know why. I've not coughed all day. You'll be back in the Prem next season. Happy days. I hope so. Obviously, January is around the corner. Anywhere in particular that you think Boro need to strengthen?
Yes, centre midfield for Howson next year. We should have been done about 3 or 4 years ago. Dan Balazar at Rotherham was linked, and also another forward as well. We've got Force there.
Is Dan Balazar the former Newcastle youth player?
Yeah.
Oh, so it'd be moving sort of closer to home.
Yeah, exactly. It makes absolute sense, right?
Yeah, of course it does.
So yeah, hopefully he was linked, and then also, funny enough, Ross Stewart at Sunderland was linked as well, and he was linked earlier in the summer, out of contract, or got 1 year left, and I think he could be out the door unless Mowbray gets some magic and keeps him in. But I think forward and centre mid, the two key players that we need, and also right wing. We've only got one right winger at the club in Isaiah Jones, who's done relatively okay this year. But yeah, if we can get 2 or 3 more bodies in, it's not a case of bringing a load of bodies in, 2 or 3, refine the squad, and we go again for the second half of the season.
No, I think you said it earlier that you've won 4 of your last 5 away league games as well, including the last 3 in a row. Obviously, the last 7 league meetings between the two of us have only produced just 6 goals, and Middlesbrough scored 4 of those. I mean, on the goal scoring front, has the pendulum swung in favour of Boro especially in recent matches?
We've been able to score goals for the majority of like the last, probably under Wilder and under Carrick. Has never
just
been the issue.
About not trying to sort of. It's all right, doing it up one end, but the other end seems to just be leaking like no tomorrow.
It was under Wilder, yeah, but now we've kind of struck that balance, and we are scoring goals. Chuba has just been amazing this year. He came in from the cold, found himself in the team, and he scored 9 goals this season. I think he's joint top in the championship, and he's playing in like a number 10 position. And he'll connect with like the wingers to try and create the space for Force to get in, or vice versa as well. So them two have been really well together. But goals, saying like we're creating plenty of chances, and that's the most important thing when you're playing against teams like yourself. If you can create 1 or 2 chances or 3 chances, then you're gonna maybe get something from the game, and we're doing that quite regularly now. I think our XG has been really good for most of the season. I think it's just a case of, can we continue to do that? Which is strange because we never ever score goals. We never have a striker who's hit 20 goals since Burnley Slavens in like 1980 something. So yeah, I mean, if Akpom can do it, then great. But if he doesn't, then it's all right. We've had a good season so far, and we're still scoring goals.
Well, best thing. Speaking of goals, Henry asks, what's Boro's goal for the end of the season, and what's the best case scenario?
Promotion, obviously. Everyone wants promotion, right? But 100%. I think realistically, if we can get 8th and above, that is a really, really good season. If it's any lower, then it's a case of Carrick's just found his feet, had a really good start of his management career so far, and can we bring in this new recruitment structure more successfully in the summer, and then we go again in the following season, because it's definitely a building process at Boro. Definitely a much more sustainable way of being, rather than the previous years of just splashing money and getting nowhere. So yeah, top 8 would be incredible.
I bet. Right. So the big question, I suppose. Carrick's thinking, Turf Moor, not really the best place for myself off history. I mean, the first time we were in the Premiership, we faced Manchester United at Turf Moor, beat them 1-0. Robbie Blake, absolute stunner. Carrick missed a penalty from the spot. So he's not looking forward to coming to Turf Moor. He finds your Twitter page, finds you on YouTube, gives you a message and say, look, I want you to pick my team. Who are you going for? Who would your starting lineup be against Burnley this weekend?
I would stick to the 11 that he's playing at the moment. I would definitely go with... I go Zach Steffen in goal, Smith right back, Lenihan, Fry, Giles, 2 defensive midfielders of Jonny Howson and Hayden Hackney, who's a Boro youth graduate, doing really well at the moment. On the left-hand side, he plays more of like an inverted, like left attacking midfielder, Ryland McGree, who's just been at the World Cup with Australia. We've got Chuba Akpom in the 10, Isaiah Jones on the right, and Marcus Force up top. And then towards the end, if we're chasing the game, chuck Matt Crooks on, who's like 6'4", and just play a long ball, and try and do something really Brexit against a Burnley team that used to be Brexit, and try and get something. But yeah, I think that was how we'll probably play it out, to be honest. And I can't see Carrick changing it too much. I mean, if you win 4 and 5, you're probably not going to change too much, right?
Yeah, true. Right. I want to play a little game with you. Don't worry, it's nothing too strenuous. You're not going to break your back doing it. But this is a little game that I like to play with everyone. This is called This or That.
This or that.
Doing my own voiceover work. Don't worry, I don't expect a call from any like Walt Disney or like that anytime soon. Basically, what I'm going to do is give you two options, and you only have to say which one you prefer out of those. So I'll start off nice and easy. I'll give you home games or away games.
I've got a good routine at home games, but I do prefer an away game, so I'll go away.
Yeah, the atmosphere's cracking on away days, isn't it? Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
I'm gonna say it depends who you're chilling with. Work hard or play hard?
I work hard, unfortunately.
You can only play hard if you work hard, right?
Yeah, exactly. Work hard.
Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter every day.
Yeah. Mendieta or Juninho?
Juninho.
Ooh.
Mendieta is a superstar, but Juninho, you will never ever see a player get Player of the Year in the Premier League in a relegated team, ever. You'll never see it again. Never see it again.
No, that's a fair shout. Hugo Ehiog or Jonathan Woodgate?
Woodgate.
Trying to think who else now. Julia Walker or Gareth Southgate?
Southgate every day. Southgate, absolute boyo, isn't he? Absolute boyo.
He was. Macaroni or Ravanelli?
Is it just sentiment or like logical? Like sentiment,
It's totally up to you.
You got to pick Ravanelli though, right? Champions League winner, scored the winner in the Champions League final, winning penalty, and then signs for Middlesbrough the week after. Never happen again. That will never happen again.
Madness, absolute madness. If you could replace any current Boro player, that means they could be shit or absolutely world class. With a Burnley player, who would it be?
Howson for Cullen.
That was quick. Everybody else has gone, who would I have? But that was straight off the cuff. It was like you was prepared for that question.
I'm telling you, absolute fanboy. He was so good. Like he's been so good over the last couple of seasons, and like it's mint seeing him like come back to England and hit the ground running. Really, he just would suit our game to a T as well. So
to a T. See what you did there. What you did. Hey.
Yeah. There you go. But yeah, definitely Cullen for Howson.
Oh, good shout. And the big question, this can define whether you are a legend or an absolute ball bag. Does pineapple belong on a pizza? You're going to be controversial, aren't you?
See,
you are from an area that loves a Parmo. So I'm wondering where you're going to go with this.
See, I tried it the other day and I thought, well, it's actually not too bad. But I will say no for the social aspect. It does not belong on a pizza.
Yes. Legend. Absolute legend. Fucking oh shit. I hate it. Hate it. Although everyone said at 1K, the challenge I need to do is go and stand outside in like a Burnley kit, or I don't know, dressed in full kit or just the Burnley shirt outside the Jack Walker statue eating a ham and pineapple pizza. I don't know why. I mean,
it's not that bad, you know. It's actually quite nice. And
I hate pineapple. Hate it.
Well, I feel like this could change your life. Maybe give it a go. What's the worst?
I have give it a go. That's the problem. That is the problem. That's horrible. Tuna, cucumber. Ugh. Yeah, they're just not right for me. Not right for me.
Just in the spirit of this game. Got one for you. What would you rather do? Not support Blackburn, but everyone thinks that you do, or you do support Blackburn and no one knows it?
Oh, the tables have turned.
So you don't.
How do I answer that? I'm trying to think of the logistical answer here, but there is no logistical answer.
You could say, like, because the example could be you don't support Blackburn and you support Burnley still, but everyone's going to be like, why is the Turf Moor House a Blackburn supporter? But then on the flip side, you do support Blackburn, but then no one thinks that you do, and you could have this podcast and it be successful, but then you support Blackburn.
I think it'd have to be the first one where I know I'm a Burnley fan, but people think I'm a Blackburn fan just because of the fact of that
Good
way
answer.
you're true to yourself. You're true to yourself. Who else do you have to prove to that you support Burnley Football Club other than yourself?
Exactly.
And if people start seeing you at Burnley games, their perception will change. So I will. Oh, I'm glad I managed to get. I escaped a sticky situation there. I felt like I was in for police questioning. Oliver says here, hi Dan, mate. I've got tickets for Swansea and the Burnley game. Wow. Like I say, good luck with the trip to Swansea, especially with the incoming weather and stuff. And the Swansea game being, I think it's on the 2nd of Jan. So, I think it got moved for TV. I'm not sure, but should be good. Should be a good one. Henry's predicting a 1-1 draw. Connor Roberts scores and a Ravanelli lookalike scores for Boro. I'm sure you'll take it.
I'd take it. Yeah, it doesn't look like Ravanelli, but I'll take it.
More chance of someone coming on looking like Ravioli more than Ravanelli, but we shall see. Barry says he's away now, Dan. Really enjoyed listening to the both of us. Pineapple definitely no on a pizza. Yes, Baz. Yes. Well said, Baz. And then and Henry says, take care, Barry. Keep warm. Cheers. And everyone saying take care. In the final question then, before we wrap this up, score prediction. I'm not going to give mine until 9 o'clock when I do the prediction show, but let us know how you think. Is it a heart and head, 2 different scores, or is it just how you think this is going to be?
Feeling both teams to score, but 1-1. Unfortunately, going to go over draw. I think we'll score first. You'll equalise, and then who knows? Something might happen towards the end. Who knows? You never know. A point on the road's always like a bonus, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah. So you will take it. No, I appreciate it, Jonny. I appreciate coming on and giving us an insight into Boro as well. And I will try and get up there for the game as well. So it should be good that way. I've completed it. I can lock it to one side. I've done it. But no, thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. Just again, let people know where they can find you and your stuff. Yeah, just search the Boro Breakdown, Boro_Breakdown on Twitter. But if you just search the Boro Breakdown on Google, you will really find all of our podcasts on each podcast provider, on YouTube, all our socials, all the Boro Breakdown, and you can find us there. We do a podcast every Sunday. Oh, sweet. Please do go and show your support to Jonny then as well. Like I said, the link to the Twitter and YouTube page is in the description. I'm sure you'll be able to find all the other links within those 2 socials. Oliver's going 3-0. Cindy's going 3-1. A lot of people backing big scores for Burnley. I'll take it. I'll smile and take it. Optimism that kills you. You horrible bastard. You had to get that in. Henry says, awesome podcast, Dan. It's been fun. Good night, all. As I say, it's not the end yet for me. Unfortunately, I can't just go up to bed, even though Kate did want me to join her. I can't. I've got another podcast at 9 o'clock. So she can grumble all she wants. She knows. She's involved in the prediction show. So as I said, please do join us at 9 p.m. Not long to go, just over half an hour. Good 34 minutes, and we'll be back with Anthony for that. Jonny, really do appreciate, as I say, for your time on this Thursday night with everything around the corner. I'll tell you what, I will take that, Eugene. I will take that all day. Even Blackburn will still be able to count that on one hand, and they'll have a finger spare. That said, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for listening on the podcast platforms, and we'll be back 9 o'clock for the EFL prediction show. Thanks again, Jonny. Thanks again, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon. Peace out. Cheers.